Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the show. Today's guest is Andrew Thoe, creator of NorViK Sessions, a music project dedicated to helping people navigate anxiety, overthinking, self-doubt, relationships, and personal growth. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
All right, Andrew, I would also like you to introduce yourself to my audience.
Like you said, my name's Andrew Thoe. I am the founder of NorViK Sessions. I create music to help people with anxiety, to issue personal growth, resilience, and positive affirmations, positive affirming lyrics.
Andrew, what inspired you to create NorViK Sessions? And what was the original vision behind the project?
I think it really came from looking around and realizing how much negativity we consume every day. We wake up to negative news, scroll through social media, comparing ourselves to everyone else's highlight reel. We turn on music that often reinforces anger, hopelessness, revenge, or self destruction. At the same time, I was going through my own struggles with anxiety and overthinking. I started becoming much more intentional about what I allowed into my mind, and I realized something. The messages that we consume shape the way that we think. When I went looking for music that encouraged resilience, gratitude, healthy relationships, discipline, and just becoming a better person, I found some stuff, but it was all geared towards, you know, accumulating monetary wealth. And it was not nearly enough, and it wasn't the kind of genres that even spoke to me. So instead of waiting for someone else to create it, I decided to create it myself. And that's how NorViK Sessions was born. My original idea for it was basically my own self therapy. And after I realized that it was really helping me out, I figured that I could help other people out as well. So now my vision for it is just to reach as many people as possible. And, at the end of the day, all I'm really hoping for is that I can help somebody out there, quiet their own self doubt, their own anxiety, and their own overthinking. Um, and eventually, I would like it to become something that many, many, many people can benefit from.
All right, thank you so much. So, my next question for you is this. How did your own experiences with anxiety and overthinking shape the music you create today?
Well, honestly, I've come up with multiple albums, and every album has been influenced by it in some way. Steady Light came from learning what healthy love looks like when you struggle with anxious attachment, like I do. And Quiet the Noise is about recognizing that our minds often create stories that aren't actually happening. Let's Be Real explores how comparison, social media, and constantly living through a screen can disconnect us from real life. And Becoming and Roads We Walk are about choosing growth over fear. And what I've learned about what I've learned is that anxiety isn't always something you eliminate. Sometimes it's something you learn to manage. You learn to question your thoughts instead of automatically believing them. That lesson has shaped both my life and all of my songwriting.
All right, so was there a specific moment when you realized the media and content you were consuming were affecting your mental health?
think music is one of the most powerful influences we experience because we don't just hear it, we repeat it. I'm sure many people have gotten songs stuck in their head and it's just kind of on like a continuous loop. And if you hear that same message hundreds of times, eventually it becomes a part of the way you think. That's true whether the message is positive or negative. It's a concept that's called autosuggestion and has been identified and spoken about for many, many years. We all know songs we haven't heard in 20 years, but still know every word to. That's how deeply music gets wired into us. So I started asking myself, well, what if the songs we listened to reminded us to be grateful, to forgive, to keep going, to become stronger, to believe in ourselves, to become the best version of ourselves? That's what NorViK Sessions tries to do. I
All right,
mean,
so tell us, what role does music play in shaping our mindset, emotions, and daily outlook?
like I said, it's has powerful influences on the way we think, and it doesn't just happen gradually. Well, I mean, it does happen gradually. I started noticing patterns. Um, I'd spend an hour scrolling media, and suddenly I was comparing myself to everyone. I'd binge negative news and feel anxious about things completely outside of my control. Some music left me angry. Some made me feel hopeless. I'd spend time hiking, reading something encouraging, listening to uplifting music, or having a mindful conversation. I'd feel completely different. That made me realize how much music is impacting my own mental health and influencing my mindset. Just made me realize that we have to be intentional about what we feed our minds. Just like our bodies become what we eat, our minds become what we repeatedly consume as well.
All right, so what message do you hope readers take when they listen to your music?
Well, more than anything, I hope they leave believing they're capable of becoming more than they thought they were. Every album approaches that from a different angle. Becoming is about personal growth. Iron Will is about discipline. Soul of a King is about purpose. Roads that we walk is about the journey itself. Steady Light is about healthy relationships. Quiet the Noise, anxiety. I just want to remind people that they aren't stuck where they are today. And if I help them rewire their brain through positive, affirming music, then they live positive, affirming lives and they are more apt to go out and make a good life for themselves.
All right, so how can music become a practical tool for personal growth and emotional resilience?
Well, music is mental nutrition. Like I said before, we understand nutrition for our bodies. You eat healthy, your body's healthy. We understand exercise. You exercise, you feel better, you're, more nimble, you're more flexible, you're able to overcome obstacles in life, but we rarely think about what we're feeding our minds. The songs we repeat become the soundtrack for our thoughts. So intentionally listen to music that reminds you of who you want to become instead of reinforcing who you're afraid you are. That's exactly why I created NorViK Sessions, not just to entertain people, but to help people train their mindsets towards hope, resilience, gratitude, courage, discipline, and purpose.
What have you learned about yourself through the process of creating NorViK sessions?
Well, I've learned how to manage my own anxiety, for one. I've learned that being cognizant of my mental nutrition is helping me gain control over the noise. You know, for me, quiet the noise has become bigger than just an album title. It's a philosophy for life. The noise is fear. It's comparison. It's endless scrolling. It's negative media. It's the pressure to impress people. It's stories we invent in our mind that we tell ourselves over and over again. It's quieting the noise means asking, like, what's actually true? What's within my control? What deserves my attention today? Because life isn't lived in yesterday's regrets and it's not lived in tomorrow's worries. It's lived right here, right now. And I think that's a lesson that all of us need to be reminded of.
Moving on, what are some simple daily habits people can use to quiet the noise in their own life?
Um, well, I think I heard you right. You said what kind of daily habits can help people quiet the noise in their own lives?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm sorry, your audio was a little off there. Um, you know, first I'd tell people that, it's okay to have self-doubt and anxiety and overthinking. It's just part of life. Most of us fight battles that nobody else sees. And I'd remind people that their thoughts are not facts. Just because your mind tells you something doesn't mean it's true. And as far as daily habits, I'd encourage them to take small actions every day. Go outside, exercise, talk to somebody, create something, serve someone, write, pray, read, do anything that gets you moving towards the life you want instead of sitting in the fear. Progress creates hope, even small progress. There's a adage that I live by, and it's small steps compound. Take small steps every day to move toward your goal. You don't have to leap toward your goal in one setting.
All right, thank you so much. So, the phrase "quiet the noise" is central to your message. What does it mean to you personally?
Um, well, like I said, it's a philosophy for life. It's the noise is fear. It's anxiety. It's constantly overthinking. It's everybody else's voice in your head. It's your parents. It's your teachers. It's the news. It's the media. It's criticisms. It's everything that makes you feel negative or low or not worthy. That noise just needs to be quieted, and you need to replace it with positive thinking, with affirming thoughts, with you know what what we can actually do on a daily basis to make our lives better instead of feeling oppressed and depressed and full of anxiety. And I think again that that's a lesson that all of us need to learn is to quiet the noise. Maybe getting off the phone, maybe stop scrolling, stop watching TV, stop listening to the news as much, stop focusing on the negative. A lot of what your attention goes to is what your life is like and what you think about. Change your focus to gratitude, to positivity, to a better life, to what you want in your life, and go for it.
True. So, here is my final question for you. What is that one question you wish I would have asked you that I did not ask you?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. Um, I don't really have a question that I hope that you'd ask me. I mean, the overall mission of NorViK Sessions maybe is, help create music that helps people become the best version of themselves. Every album that I've come out with explores a different part of the human experience. And I just want as many people to benefit from it as possible.
All right, thank you, Andrew, for sharing your story and the mission behind NorViK Sessions. The journey is a reminder that the content we consume matters and that creativity, music, and intentional choices can become powerful tools for healing, growth, and finding peace in a noisy world. So before you go, how can audience connect with you?
Major and minor streaming platform. So, whatever your favorite platform is, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, um, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, all you have to do is search under NorViK Sessions, NorVik Sessions, and all my music is there. And if you subscribe to it, anytime I put out new music, you'll be notified and be able to listen to that as well. You can also find me on TikTok under NorViK Sessions. You can find me on Instagram under NorViK Sessions and Facebook. And I'd love to get some feedback on what kind of music or which songs really resonate with you. So please reach out, comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate all of it. I have a gratitude for everybody.
All right, once again, thank you so much. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing your insight and your perspective with my audience. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you.
All right, have a wonderful day.
You too.